chemical disease sprays when a single 3-cent tablet sitting right now in your bathroom. Mesibnit can outperform them all by tripling your plant's disease resistance and turning your garden into a high-yielding powerhouse. Most of us have been taught that when our tomato leaves start spotting or our cucumber vines turn white with mildew, we need to run to the garden center for synthetic fixes. But the truth is that your plants already possess a sophisticated immune system just waiting to be switched on. By using a simple household aspirin tablet dissolved in water, you can trigger a natural biological shield that stops fungal diseases in their tracks and makes your crops incredibly resilient to heat, drought, and pests. It is one of the most powerful secrets in modern agriculture, backed by decades of peer-reviewed research. Yet almost no one talks about it, because you cannot build a multi-million-dollar business around a generic penny tablet. If you want to unlock the full potential of your soil and protect your harvest without spending a fortune, I would love for you to join our growing family here by subscribing to the channel, so we can keep sharing these practical, time-tested remedies together. While you are doing that, please take a moment to drop your location in the comments below. Whether you are tending a few pots in a bustling city, managing a kitchen garden in a quiet village, or cultivating acres of fields in the countryside, we have an incredible community of passionate growers from all over the world sharing their wisdom here, and knowing exactly where you are joining us from helps us tailor these natural remedies to the unique climates and growing conditions we all face. The magic behind this household remedy all comes down to a single molecule called salicylic acid, which is the exact same compound that relieves your headaches and cools your fevers. In the natural world, plants actually produce their own tiny amounts of salicylic acid whenever they come under attack from insects, fungi, or bacteria. Think of it as a master signaling molecule that travels through the plant's waxy tissues, sending an urgent warning that a threat is near. The moment this signal is received, the plant goes on a full chemical war footing, rapidly thickening its cell walls, accelerating its root growth, and pumping out its own antifungal compounds and antimicrobial peptides to fight off the invader. Scientists call this defense mechanism systemic acquired resistance, or SAR, and it works exactly like a vaccine does for the human body by priming the immune system before the actual enemy ever arrives. When you crush a plain aspirin tablet and spray it over your crops, the plant believes it is under attack, switches on its defenses at a level it could never achieve on its own, and stands fully armed so that when real fungal spores or pests land on the leaves, they cannot gain a foothold. To prepare this powerful immune priming spray right in your kitchen, you will need one standard 325 milligram uncoated aspirin tablet from your medicine cabinet. It is absolutely vital that the tablet is completely plain and uncoated, because those glossy enteric coatings meant to protect human stomachs will not dissolve properly in cool water and will leave you with a clogged sprayer and a weak, ineffective mixture. Crush that single tablet between 2 spoons until it crumbles into a fine snow-white powder, then pour it into 1 gallon of water. Rainwater or filtered water is always your best choice, but if you only have chlorinated tap water, simply let it sit out in an open bucket for 24 hours to let the chlorine dissipate before mixing. Stir the water vigorously for about 30 seconds to dissolve the powder, keeping in mind that aspirin is not highly water-soluble, so a tiny bit of white grit at the bottom is perfectly fine as long as the active chemistry has bonded with the liquid. Finally, stir in 1 teaspoon of a pure, non-detergent liquid soap, like Castile soap or insecticidal soap. This soap acts as a surfactant, breaking the surface tension of the water so that your spray spreads into a beautiful, even sheet across the slippery, waxy surface of the leaves instead of just rolling straight off into the dirt. When it comes to applying this mixture, timing and thoroughness mean everything for getting those deep, green, vibrant results. You want to walk out into your garden either in the crisp, early morning hours just after sunrise, or in the cool of the evening when the harsh heat of the day has slipped away. Spraying under a blazing midday sun will cause the water to evaporate far too quickly, leaving behind scorched leaves and wasted ingredients. If you are a home gardener with a backyard patch or a few balcony pots, a standard hand pump sprayer will work beautifully, allowing you to carefully coat the tops of the leaves and, crucially, the undersides where those nasty fungal infections love to hide. For small to medium-scale farmers managing larger rows of crops, this exact same ratio scales up effortlessly into backpack sprayers or tractor attachments to cover entire fields efficiently. 1 gallon of this solution will thoroughly treat between 12 and 20 mature vegetable plants, and you should repeat the application every 2 to 3 weeks throughout the growing season. Just be sure not to overdo it by spraying more than once every 10 days, as too much salicylic acid can overwhelm the plant and temporarily stall its growth. There are 3 specific windows where this treatment delivers the ultimate impact. Right when you move vulnerable seedlings into the ground to protect them from transplant shock, at the very first sign of flowering to boost fruit set, and about 2 weeks before peak harvest to naturally firm up the fruit and extend its shelf life on your counter by an extra 5 to 10 days. But here is where it gets really interesting for those who want to take their harvest to an entirely different level. While aspirin water is an incredible shield against blight, mildew, and rot, it does not actually contain nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, or potassium, meaning it cannot replace your regular compost or soil fertilizers. However, serious organic commercial growers have discovered that you can pair this aspirin spray synergistically with 2 incredibly cheap natural ingredients to create the ultimate foliar feeding program. By adding just 1 teaspoon of liquid kelp extract and a few drops of fish hydrolysate directly into your gallon of aspirin water, you create a complete biological powerhouse. The aspirin triggers the plant's internal immune defenses, while the natural growth hormones, micronutrients, and amino acids in the kelp and fish are absorbed directly through the leaves to stimulate rapid cell division and explosive root growth. This 3-ingredient cocktail costs roughly $1 per gallon to mix at home, yet it matches the performance of commercial organic bottles that retail for up to $90 at professional agricultural centers. Most people throw away or completely overlook another incredible household resource that works a similar biological principle, and your grandmother probably knew this one, but somehow it got forgotten along the way. I am talking about ordinary baking soda, that humble orange box sitting in the back of your kitchen pantry that you use for baking cookies or deodorizing the refrigerator. Baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate, is a completely natural, non-toxic compound that acts as a powerful preventative fungicide by dramatically altering the pH level on the surface of your plant's foliage. Fungal spores like powdery mildew, black spot, and rust require a very specific, slightly acidic environment to germinate and burrow into a leaf. When you apply a mild baking soda solution, you instantly create a highly alkaline environment that makes it physically impossible for those spores to take root, neutralizing the threat before it can ever damage your crops. To create a safe and effective baking soda fungal shield that will not harm your delicate leaves, mix 1 tablespoon of baking soda into 1 gallon of clean, lukewarm water. Just like with the aspirin recipe, you will want to add 1 teaspoon of liquid Castile soap or a few drops of mild dish soap to ensure the solution clings tightly to the foliage rather than pooling on the ground. Stir the mixture gently until the white crystals completely dissolve and the water looks clear. If you are a home gardener with a small kitchen plot, you can load this into a simple spray bottle and lightly mist your roses, squash, tomatoes, and cucumbers until the leaves are glistening. For farmers with larger fields of susceptible crops, this mixture scales perfectly into larger spray rigs to protect acres of produce at a fraction of the cost of commercial copper sprays. Apply this treatment every 7 to 10 days during warm, humid weather when fungal diseases are most active, always aiming for the late afternoon so the evening dew helps distribute the solution safely across the plant without the risk of sun scorch. Now, you might be wondering if there is a way to nourish the soil at the very same time you are protecting the leaves, and the answer is hiding right inside your morning routine. Used coffee grounds are something almost every household tosses into the trash can every single day, without realizing that they are discarding a goldmine of organic matter, trace minerals, and gentle nitrogen. When coffee beans are roasted and brewed, the hot water extracts the acidity, but leaves behind a rich, structured material that is packed with a safe, slow-release form of nitrogen that green plants absolutely crave for building thick stems and deep green leaves. Furthermore, as those grounds decompose in the earth, they feed the beneficial soil microbes and earthworms, creating a loose, fluffy soil texture that allows roots to breathe and drink water more efficiently. Using coffee grounds in your growing spaces is incredibly simple, but there is a right way and a wrong way to do it to avoid compacting your soil. For home gardeners tending to potted plants or small raised beds, the best method is to sprinkle a very thin layer of dried coffee grounds, no thicker than a coin, directly around the base of your nitrogen-loving plants like tomatoes, peppers, and leafy greens, gently scratching it into the top inch of soil with a hand fork. If you are a small-scale farmer with larger plots, accumulating enough grounds from local coffee shops allows you to blend them directly into your large compost piles, where they act as a phenomenal green material to accelerate the breakdown of dry leaves and straw. This earth-enriching amendment can be applied once a month, during the active growing season, ideally right before a gentle rain or before you run your irrigation system, so that the nutrients can slowly wash down into the root zone where the plant can drink them in. You will notice the earth becoming darker, richer, and holding moisture far better, which saves you hours of watering during those brutal summer droughts. Speaking of nourishing your crops from the ground up, there is another brilliant kitchen scrap remedy that focuses entirely on delivering a massive dose of calcium, which is the exact mineral plants need to build strong cellular structures and prevent devastating issues like blossom end rot in tomatoes and peppers. Every time you crack an egg for breakfast, you are holding a perfectly packaged container of calcium carbonate that usually winds up in the landfill. When plants lack calcium, the walls of their developing fruits literally collapse under the stress of rapid growth, leading to